Okay.
I ain't got no jokes. Start the show.
So, what was you saying about your theory for? No, what were you saying about Tiana Paris?
So my interview. I had a nice little
Yeah.
interview with her, and we were talking Captain Marvel. No, I'm sorry. We're talking WandaVision, and she will be in Captain Marvel too. And I did ask her about how she felt in WandaVision when Captain Marvel was mentioned. Now she kind of sort of evaded the question. I She did say that we'll find out. So I'm assuming in the next couple episodes we're gonna find out exactly what her beef or issue is with Captain Marvel. Um, and then I also asked her another question, which was, what would she want to see from the comics? Since she's been reading the comics, what would you want to see come to life? And I was like, would you want to see a certain love interest, maybe? And she talked about a couple things, and then Blue Marvel came up. And once Blue Marvel came up, you know, she basically was saying that like, yo, I wouldn't mind seeing that happen, right?
Okay.
But the way I took it, because I was listening to what she was not saying, right? And the way she was talking about it, she was talking about Blue Marvel as if that was not on the table.
Okay.
So that was the impression I got anyway. Now, she could be a great actress. She could have been lying, you know, and Blue Marvel might show up in the next episode of WandaVision. Don't know, but I feel like because, my question wasn't prying, I don't think she sent that for me. So I think when it comes to Monica's friend that is supposed to show up in WandaVision to help her with solve the equations. Now, I think we can whittle it down to two likely suspects. First suspect would be Hank McCoy, Beast from the X-Men. He does have direct ties in the comics to SWORD, the agency. So this would be a very interesting time to maybe have what's the guy's name that played him in the X-Men First Class? I think it was Nicholas Holt, I think. Yeah,
or
so
they could bring in Frazier.
I don't think so. I think he's a little older. They want to go with the younger cast, if anything. But I could see them bringing in Nicholas Holt, just to come and solve an equation for them. That would probably be the very first official crossover, I think. But if it's not him, then it'll be Reed Richards, played by John Krasinski. He has had meetings he had a meeting with Marvel. It was like early in the pandemic time, so say March, May, or something like that. If you watch his Good News show that he was doing on YouTube, which got picked up and syndicated, or whatever, like he sold
on NBC or CBS.
Yeah, like he sold it for millions. I was like, wow, okay. But there was a moment where the news leaked that he talked to Marvel, and he made a quick comment about it in the form of a joke, and that, in a sense, was kind of like that indirect confirmation that at the very least they spoke. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, if it was like 9 months ago that you had a meeting with Marvel, people have been championing for Krasinski to play Reed Richards for years now, and Krasinski actually auditioned to be Captain America until Chris Hemsworth, or until he saw Chris Hemsworth, or I forget if it was Evans or whoever, and he was like, I'm not swole enough, can't do this. He left. But before it was Jack Ryan and stuff, he had that interest in Marvel. And then since that boat was missed, fans have been pushing hard. Like, I would say the same push that Rosario Dawson had to play Ahsoka from fans is what people have been having for John Krasinski and his wife, Emily Blunt, to be part of the first family of Marvel. So
This is absolutely true.
I think that this is going to be the big Luke Skywalker reveal from Elizabeth Olsen, where she confirmed in an interview that could be that level of a cameo that will essentially break the internet. Like,
I don't think we're at that point yet.
They're going. She supposedly she.
I think the Evan Peters was the break the internet cameo.
It could be. It totally could be. It kind of did. You know.
It did, right?
It did. So it could be that. I mean, I was looking at the date of the article of the interview, and I want to say it was like February 7th or something like that. So it was like, a couple weeks ago. But it was right before the Evan Peters thing too.
Right.
So
right.
Maybe it is. But to me, the fact that, they kind of hyped up the fact that there was like a friend coming for Monica.
Yep.
I'm like,
now that I wanted to talk about. Like we talked about it a little bit earlier, and I was saying, you know what? I think that would just be too many new characters introduced too quickly. That was my counter. It just didn't seem like it fit Marvel's mode of storytelling. So I started thinking, if they were going to do something that was already introduced, I had my own ideas for who it could be. Now, my first pick was like somebody obvious would be like a Bill Foster. Just bring him back and have him be Monica's friend. That there could be some relation there between the two, possibly.
Did he do aerospace stuff though? Because I want to
say he was a I think he was like a molecular biologist.
Well, she specifically said, "I know an aerospace engineer."
She did say that. Say that. So then I had my other theory, which was another name that's been hinted throughout the MCU before, and I said, well, why not just bring in Amadeus Cho?
That is also now. Again, is he aerospace engineer?
He can be.
I would say that he exists because his mom exists.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if
I don't know if aerospace just seems too specific. You know what I'm saying? Like if she had said like, "Yo, I know an engineer that could help."
And they've been bending things for the MCU this entire time. I know his mom exists. They've been foreshadowing the introduction of Amadeus Cho. I think this will be a perfect moment for her to bring in a friend that could be Amadeus Cho or Bill Foster.
I feel like given the fact that the writing is so intentional, I mean, we see this with the Easter eggs and everything, right? Like, clearly they put a lot of thought and effort. They're not going to just throw in a specific term like aerospace engineer for nothing.
I'm 100% with you.
And I'm just saying that, like, the closest Marvel person that has dealt with space,
so Hank McCoy was also like a more of a doctor than he was more of a biologist than anything.
Yes.
And Reed Richards was, I don't know what he was honestly. I don't know what he was.
I know he was like
he was like everything.
Physicist. But the fact that they were also dealing with space, they were astronauts in a sense. They were explorers. I feel like that's a perfect fit for him to be a former SWORD employee, and be part of that astronaut program, because you have to kind of also tie this to who does Monica know? Not who exists in Marvel, but who would Monica specifically know, especially after the snap, before the snap, right? Thanos' snap.
That's what brought me to Amadeus.
But he would be too young. Well, I guess
he would have been. He could have been the same age as Monica, for all we know.
No, wait. Amadeus he's a teen, right? Like in the comics, he's like a teen. He's not like a full-grown adult. No, I'm just trying to think because if he was snapped,
he's like a late teen, young adult.
I'm just thinking because of the snap and the blip, some people snapped away and they never aged.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm wondering if, but I get the feeling that they wouldn't make him an aerospace engineer, even for the sake of the engineer, for the sake of the story.
Why not?
Like if I had to put money, I would say it's Reed Richards
No, man. I would say it's Amadeus Cho. I think they're gonna rather than introduce a new story element, they're gonna culminate something they've already started.
Let's put $20 on it.
All right, let's see.
Okay, put it on the board. I feel like we should have more bets.
We should have more bets, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
So I got another one.
Decide. Is it gonna be Amadeus Cho or is it gonna be Reed Richards?
There you go.